This is the Real English Conversations podcast.
where you'll find the lessons and advice you need to be able to confidently use your English in the real world.
Hi, everybody. My name is Curtis Davies, and I'm here with Amy Whitney. We're from realeNglishConversations.com. And what are we going to be talking about today, Amy?
Today, we have kind of a discussion that we're going to have about our cell phone obsession as a culture. This is something I think it has been discussed by many people before, but really how cell phones are affecting us as people and the connections that we're having with each other. Like, everybody is so obsessed with just checking their messages or recording something that they see in the moment rather than being present. And I think this is just an interesting topic to discuss and to see what we each think about it and maybe how other people think about it. We don't know how other people think about it, but we're going to tell you what we think about it.
Mhm. Yeah, we might have similar opinions or different opinions, right?
That's right. So, for example, let's start out with this idea of being at the dinner table, okay? And one person brings out their cell phone, and maybe you're with your family. So you have three people that are not on their cell phone, and one person is on their cell phone. What do you think about that sort of situation? This is kind of like a cell phone etiquette thing. How do you feel about that situation?
I feel if the person with the cell phone, I feel that person is not fully involved with the rest of the discussion. They're kind of distracted or bored, or they have this connection to their phones to scroll or to look on them to check a notification every time a sound goes off, something like that. So I think that person, in my opinion, would be checked out from the rest of the conversation.
Mhm. And that's a little bit disrespectful, right? Like, if you're there with other people, should you be talking to them or sitting there on your cell phone scrolling through your own business, you know?
Yeah, I'd be catching up or, trying to involve them in the conversation and that sort of thing. And I would see it as rude if they continue to scroll on their phone.
But would you say something? Like, this is the thing. I know that, for example, my grandpa, if he saw that, he's old school. I mean, he was old
Yeah.
school, but he had no hats at the dinner table. If you had your cell phone out and you were looking at your phone during dinner, that was a no. Like, it is something that you absolutely don't do because, I feel like, and maybe this is something that has lost its, maybe some households are still doing this, but in other households, dinner and eating meals together is really about connection and family time and talking and learning about other people's days, what they did, how it went, problems they're having. Like, this is what we do at the dinner table. So, having a cell phone and one of the, four participants not involved in the conversation or not involved in that bonding experience, like, do you think that it hurts the relationship or the family, bonding that's happening?
I think it has an effect on it for sure because one person's not involved. If you politely say something to like not hurt the person's feelings to bring it to their attention, like, "Oh, we're at dinner. Could you please maybe put your cell phone away until after we're done? We'd like to find out, how you've been all these years or weeks or"
Or today, if it's your
Yeah,
son
oh,
or daughter,
today.
right? Yeah. But do you
Exactly.
think these days, with every single family member having a cell phone, do you think that same I don't know, we don't have a family. So, if we had kids, let's just pretend, Would there be cell phones at the dinner table? Would we be the old school or whatever? At least the kids are busy and they're quiet.
I'd be the old school.
Yeah, me too. I think so.
Yeah, because that's how my parents raised me, right? And being around your grandparents a lot back in the day, you even had to dress nice, and there were some hard rules, you know? Not difficult, but
Like respect. It
yes.
was respect for that time, and, dinner and lunch and whatever meal you had at their house was, an event. Like, it wasn't quickly eat your sandwich and run on. It was like you're sitting down for an hour and a half, having a meal together, and that was really, really important. Okay, so how about this next topic about documenting everything with our cell phone? Rather than being in the moment and just being like, "Wow, this is awesome," and then if you have time, taking a picture after, what is the first thing that we do when we see something cool?
We want to capture the memory and take a photo of it. We pull out our phones and we either take a picture or sometimes a video, a short video. And it's such an impulse now with this obsession culture or being connected to our phones in a way where it's an almost a natural, immediate thing that we do. For example, with food, when we go out and they have a beautiful presentation when they bring it to the table, and it looks nice on the plate, it's all colorful. And Amy, the first thing you do when we go out sometimes, the first thing, and I'm starving. All right, my mouth is watering, and I'm like, just about to take the first bite.
I'm like,
No, 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 no,
"Wait,
wait, we gotta take pictures.
it's so
Yeah.
delicious. I wanna post this to the foodie websites that, or the social media groups that I'm in about this beautiful plate, and if it's as delicious as it looks." No, 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 wait, right?
Mhm. Like, I'm not insulted by that, it's not rude, but it's like, I wanna dig in right away.
Do you remember last year we were taking a water taxi out to, I think Yalapa or Kimixto. I can't remember where we were going, but there's literally this boat access only beach area that we wanted to go to. And we have here in Puerto Vallarta, there are humpback whales that come down for the mating season. And it's very, very common that we see them in the ocean, even on just a water taxi ride, right? Do you remember what happened when we saw whales on that trip?
When they stop the boat and they're like, "There are the whales," everybody, except me, I was the only one,
I did the same like the rest.
everybody except me pulled out their phone to take pictures and videos. It was instant.
Yeah, like a wave of people like, "Whew," and we're, like, trying to record.
And I didn't because it wasn't very stable, and I don't feel too comfortable on boats, with a bit of wave action moving back and forth. So I just sat down and remained seated because I didn't wanna fall over or off of the boat. I don't think I would have fell off of the boat, but that's why I wasn't up there. But if I didn't have that fear, of course, that's that instant reaction. When I see whales on the beach, yeah, "Whoa, I'm taking a video."
You were on the right side of the boat where the whales were, right? So you were able to actually see it while you were sitting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now here's the question. Do you think that whale experience was better just looking at it and enjoying it in the moment? Or do you think my whale experience was better because I was focusing on trying to record it through my cell phone? So rather than looking at it with my own eyes and just living that moment, I was recording and focusing on recording. Now, the question is, and question for myself is, am I actually going to watch that video again? And is it going to be as cool as it seemed in the moment?
For me, seeing it with my own eyes, that's the experience. I've lived the experience, and for me, that memory lasts forever, whether it's recorded on a piece of technology or not. It always remains there with me, and it makes for a great story to tell again.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, oh, what about selfies? Jeez, that's another one. Selfies. Like,
Oh yeah.
this is like to take a selfie, like it's like a verb, you know? It's like
Mhm.
something that we
It
do
made
now.
it into the dictionary, right?
Yeah, yeah. So with selfies, you're there and why are you taking a selfie? Like what happened? Do you remember back in the day, we used to have to ask people to take our picture? Because we couldn't maybe you could try to do a selfie, but you might be, like, pointing at your shoes or, you've got your camera way out here and it's, like, pointing toward you, one of those, I mean, there were digital cameras where you could probably do that, but it never occurred to us until we had cell phones that had the camera where you can put your arm out, and line it up and see the background and take a selfie. But how much has that become part it's almost like a cooler version of a picture rather than having a line of people and having someone take your picture for you. That's how I feel. Like, when someone's like, "Do you want me to take your picture?" I'm like, "No, I'm okay with a selfie." How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it feels like it takes that extra step out of it. You don't have to go out of your way to ask someone or bug someone to take a picture of you. You can just quickly take one yourself, and now they have actual selfie sticks.
They've had those for very many years, Curtis. Technology, old people,
Yeah, advanced, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I was waiting for
I
that one,
know.
Amy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good
yeah.
one.
There's usually one each podcast
That's right.
too.
I gotta
Yeah,
get my old dig in. Yep. Um,
yeah, there's an age gap difference between the both of us, but, well,
so, anyway, what I think about selfies, sometimes I prefer the view and how the image looks with a selfie rather than someone else taking the picture of us. And I don't know why that is, but for me, it's almost like a preference that we have our faces and then we've got, something cool in the background. And if I want to take a picture of just the scenery, I take a picture of the scenery. What do you prefer? Do you prefer people taking a picture of you or the selfie view?
I prefer you taking the selfie because I'm horrible at it. I always get a thumb in the camera image or the picture, or my head is cut off and I've got too much above me or something like
Or
that.
the selfies looking up our nostrils or creating the double chin?
Yeah, so you're the selfie expert. I've tried. Maybe I just need some more practice, or I'll get someone else to take the selfie.
Well, you can't get someone else to take the selfie. Someone else will take the picture, right? The
Oh,
selfie,
then
like
it's not a selfie
it's not a
anymore.
selfie, that's right. Then it's
Oh,
just a regular picture. Gotta get your lingo straight.
I'm old school.
Drop the school.
I'm
Okay.
just learning the lingo, selfie stick. Okay.
Alright, so in general, do you think that cell phones are having a big impact on our social experiences or just sometimes
Great question. I think it depends. I think it's having an impact on dividing culture, almost separating us.
from, like, the really old people?
What's that?
From the really old people? Like the grandparents, or who are we separating from?
Oh, no, within the current cell phone culture itself,
Okay.
the current cell phone culture, if you look at some people, they'd rather, like, who makes a call anymore? An actual call with a cell phone.
Right.
It takes the actual communication out, I guess.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like we'd rather send a text message or a WhatsApp message or something like that rather than make a phone call. Yeah, I think it does have to do with age, and I think we are on the line of the old side. For me personally, I hate making phone calls. Um, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's inconvenient, it's awkward. I don't like calling people to interrupt them. I'm not really sure what the reason is. Like when we had our delivery business, I was on the phone calling people all the time. It's not like I don't have the skill of doing it. But now, oh man, I'll do anything to not make a phone call.
Yeah, that would do it for some people, right?
Yeah,
That would do it. Being a dispatcher and being on the phone too much, you'd be like,
I don't want that
"No, no
anymore.
phone call."
Yeah, exactly. But, it's less comfortable for me to talk on the phone than it used to be. But I think, I got a call, for example, from like one of our older or an email from one of our older customers, like in his 80s actually. And he wanted me to call him. And I'm like, calling, calling a customer? Like it felt
What's
really
that?
weird.
Yeah, like, calling, "Hmm? What?
What is
What's
that?
that?" Yeah.
Like, who calls? Like, it seems really, really strange. So, yeah, I think, cell phones are definitely part of our life and our social interactions. And sometimes we have people that are more focused on their phone than they are with the people that are around them. And that's not good. They should change that, obviously. But, we've got a new generation that grew up with a cell phone in their hand since they were babies. So, this is something probably the way that they operate and how they think about it is going to be very different than our generation or our parents' generation, for example.
Mhm.
Interesting discussion, Curtis.
For sure, for sure. One of my friends, with his family, what he does, with family dinners is they have a basket or a little plastic basket, and they put everybody's cell phone in the basket when they come over to the house, if they're having a Thanksgiving dinner, or something like that, and then they pick up their phones at the end of dinner, and then they can or devices or whatever they're distracted with, or possibly could be distracted with. So that was a good rule to have, technology and social time specifically almost with a fun rule
Mhm.
by leaving the cell phones in the basket until dinner's over, so you can spend time with your family, and then after, it's almost like the reward. You get your technology back.
Yeah, or at least, you put in your quality time with your family. No, good idea.
Mhm.
All right, guys,
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.